what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Have You Seen This? Oh man, I forgot to check what frickin' episode it is. It's season 4, episode 18. Of course it is. That made a lot of sense.
How dare you?
Today we've got a bunch of different news. Not a bunch, but we've got some information about Charlie Sheen, which I didn't think I was going to be talking a lot about Charlie Sheen on our program when we started it, but that seems cool. I've also got this recent article I pulled up about the Love Is Blind season 4 reunion. It apparently had some issues with it. They tried to stream it live on Netflix, and apparently Netflix is not built for live streaming yet. And a couple of other things, some new shows that we follow have all started within the last week, so we'll be talking about those. But first we gotta ask, how's it going, Rob?
It's going fine. So Netflix has yet to catch up to the technology of, say, YouTube.
I would go with Twitch.tv because YouTube has only been live streaming for a couple of years. Twitch figured that out in like 2004.
That's pretty good. That's fine. Yeah, so the people that can all they have to do is like set up a hot tub or something like that, and Netflix would have been fine. They would have said, "Oh, if we can just set up a hot tub, we'll be as good as Twitch." Eventually,
yeah.
But they couldn't do it. And 4 seasons for Love Is Blind. Is that real? 4 seasons.
4 seasons for Love Is Blind.
Oh my god, it's Dave.
And at least one more on the way, and a spin-off season, it sounds like, if Dave is to be believed.
Oh yeah. You guys don't even understand how bad. Do you want to just jump right into that?
That's good. Let's go.
I want to know what Love Is Blind even is.
Oh, you don't even know what the show is?
Nope.
So it is
it's not The Circle. It's different than The Circle.
It's a Netflix dating show, one of the 17 dating shows that Netflix has.
Mm-hmm.
Where 17 or however many men and women come together who want to get married. And this is a show about getting married. But the twist of this show is you date everyone in of the opposite gender one at a time in these pods where a man is on one side, a woman's on the other, and then there's a partition in the middle so you can't see them. So you have to fall in love with them sight unseen.
So it's a blind man's bluff speed dating app thing.
Yeah, except they spend I think 5 days in the pods, and then when they eventually they form connections and then propose, and then someone proposes to someone, and then when they propose they get to see each other, and then they go to Mexico for a week to get drunk and see all the other people in the pods. And because because you were dating multiple people, some other people who got engaged may have been someone you were talking to, and now you're like, man, that girl hotter than the girl I came in here with. And this was a season of love triangles.
Oh,
okay.
And then essentially they make them live together and see hey, can you guys live together for 2 weeks, meeting family, friends, work, all that crap. And then
also hanging out with people that you may have had a higher level of attraction to.
Exactly. And then
wait. Have we covered something like this before? Not that I don't think we covered did we cover a Love Is Blind before?
I don't think we covered it. I think we talked about it once.
Maybe. Now it's that sounded kind of familiar. I remember I didn't like it. Yeah, but I remember watching something similar to that, at least an episode maybe.
But and then they have, if you make it to the altar, they have a wedding. They have weddings. And then someone says, then the priest says, "Is love truly blind?" And then they have to say yes or no. And record number said yes this season. But
wow,
yeah.
And is it more than 90 Day Fiance?
I don't know. I haven't watched 90 Day.
I just heard about that one. It's like, oh, that sounds like that other stupid show that nobody watches, or at least I never watched. Oh boy, emotional.
Oh, interesting.
Are they actors or participants?
They're participants.
I'm just hoping. Yeah. I do hope that we're enough minutes in for me to start swearing. But just for shits and giggles, I would blindfold the priest.
Oh,
Who's like officiating the weddings. Just for fun,
Yeah.
just stick a Love is Blind like bandana across his eyes.
But yeah, I think I actually haven't heard.
Would they get in trouble if they had a season of all blind people, like Love is Blind and just that blind people?
You have to find enough seeing impaired people who wanted to go on this show.
To want to humiliate
Yeah,
themselves
and then you have to
in
hope
front
that
of a
Mr.
worldwide
Beast
Netflix
hasn't
audience.
cured them by now.
Because I'll say it right now, this show, me and my wife watch it not because we're rooting for love, but because it makes us feel really emotionally healthy.
Oh,
We're
so
like, wow, these
you
people.
need the show to feel better about yourself.
Yeah, when I watch the show, I'm like, wow, look at that person who's like 10 years older than me, acting like they're 10 years younger than me. And it's just being out here. And, some people, this season included, were accused of you only came on the show to try and get famous.
Oh, yeah, imagine that. That's odd. You mean someone didn't go into it with the spirit of tricking themselves into thinking they could fall in love with somebody over 5 days without ever seeing them?
I think it's like a month and a half.
No way.
But to get to like the big problems from this last the live stream, this is the second time Netflix has tried to do a live stream. The first one was the Chris Rock
stand-up special.
Special.
Okay.
But this one, it was like, all right, we're gonna start at 9:00, and then no, and then they put a little message saying, hey, there's an issue. You're gonna start in 10 minutes. 20 minutes
Classic
later,
stream setup.
Yeah.
20 minutes later, Netflix tweets out,
They
hey guys.
looked at the have you seen this model and figured that's the one we'll follow.
But 20 minutes later, they're like, hey, we're still working on it. Don't worry, we're gonna fix it. We're gonna get it out tonight. An hour and 20 minutes go by.
Oh boy.
And they're like, you know what, guys? We're not doing it live. We're gonna film it and we're just gonna put it out for you guys. But then some people, not everyone, but some people, including myself, are able to watch it live after they've said, everyone go home. We're not live streaming this.
Like people start attacking, like they said, oh, we can edit a whole bunch of shit out, and then it's like this time it's like, no, we can just attack now.
No, I don't know what it was, but it seemed like about 50% of people were able to actually watch it live after they got told we're not going to be doing it live. So the theory is that Netflix tweeted out, hey, we're not going to do it live, so that a bunch of people would get off their servers because they weren't prepared for this many people to want to watch Love is Blind.
Maybe their next program could be set up a live stream and invite 20 single people into a room and see who falls in love by the time they actually get the live stream up and going.
But yeah, that was the big controversy.
Trademark. Guys, that's a registered trademark. I'll if Netflix wants it, they can come talk to me.
And then
here at the Northern Entertainment.
There was just a lot in the show was also hosted by Nick and Vanessa Lachey.
Oh, they do friggin' everything on that goddamn show, right?
Yeah.
On that channel? Oh my god.
A lot of flack has been put on Vanessa this season specifically for fueling a lot of fires in a very negative way and kind of shaming some of the women who are like, we don't want to have kids actually. And she's like, but why?
I remember what the show was because of those two jerks. That was the one where it's the couples go into this thing or whatever. And
it's The Ultimatum. Yes.
The Ultimatum. That's
Rob.
the name of that ridiculous stupid show.
And at the end of the reunion, they announced the second season of The Ultimatum.
Oh, good.
Which is
more morons.
Actually a very big step for representation in media. Something that The Bachelor people have been asking The Bachelor to do for years. The Ultimatum, no longer called The Ultimatum, Marry or Move On. It's now Ultimatum, Queer Love, where it's going to be eight lesbian couples coming in, and one person is like, I want to get married, and the other person's like, I don't want to get married. So what do they do to solve their problems? They switch partners.
So it's the exact same show.
It's the exact same show, but a big step for representation where it's all LGBTQ contestants. Nick and Vanessa Lachey will not be hosting.
Yeah, I was going to say, is Nick and Vanessa hosting this one as well?
No, they put out a tweet about it. Vanessa was busy filming NCIS Hawaii.
Oh God, have you seen that show?
I have not.
Okay. Guys, as we've discussed, I'm not a huge fan of those kind of programs, the NCISs, etc. That one is terrible. Not as bad as it's not the reboot of MacGyver bad. But it's pretty bad. But we can talk kind of that kind of.
I went over to my parents for Easter, and my dad was watching. My dad was watching the reboot of MacGyver. He's like, "It's pretty good," and I was so disappointed in him.
It's not. He's fucking terrible. That guy is maybe one of the worst working actors in the history of television. Terrible.
Anyway,
so. I've been looking through trying to figure out like where the server broke, right? And we don't have a lot of information because one, Netflix doesn't even release its numbers, period. So how can I tell how many people were watching when it broke necessarily? Yeah. But they claim that 6.5 million people have watched the special so far.
Bullshit.
Definitely not all of them were on at the same time. Like that's not the live number. That's the total number.
Oh, okay.
That's like what we get for our shows. That's not bad.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I went in, I checked the Chris Rock one. It doesn't really seem to say how many people watched it live. I can't remember it breaking or anything, so I guess that one went off without too many problems. But just for some context, I decided to figure out what the most watched live stream was.
Okay.
And it's from this, I want to say he's... I want to say he's one of the Spanish streamers, E18. He is the highest peak viewers on Twitch.
That's eBay. That's eBay. eBay.
With does anyone want to take a crack at the number of most live viewers on a stream?
If they say 6.5, it's got to be more than that.
I was gonna say 72 million people.
Wow.
Okay. Rob, here's what you got to think about. Rob. There's a lot of people in China and India. So.
Well, yes, but as I mentioned, I believe eBay is a Spanish-speaking streamer.
Yeah.
But
that's true,
again,
but like a lot of people.
It's like the second biggest language in the world.
Yeah, their internet providers are very, very strict, so I don't think China is a factor. But I'm going to say, like, I think that's crazy. Maybe, like, I'll say 30 million? That seems like an incredibly high.
Okay. So if we took both of your numbers, added them together, multiplied that by 3.5, we get the most viewed stream ever at 359 million total views.
That's somebody just making it up. But
that is literally the population of the United States.
Yeah. No. Dumb geeks.
And then the second most one drops like 100 million. So.
Wow. But the worst, to put extra fuel on the fire, some of the female cast members were on Instagram Live on the set while Netflix was crashing.
And Instagram Live was running fine,
hello.
right?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Also,
so the Wi-Fi was just maxed out. Is that what you're saying? It crashed because everyone was Instagramming themselves like a bunch of trips.
The other fun thing about Love Is Blind did do like a simulcast through their official Instagram, I think. And while everything was breaking down, you know who started talking crap in the comment section?
Vanessa.
No, all the brands in the world. Like McDonald's was in there commenting like, "Hey, it's not going to be up in time. You got time to go get drive-through." Freaking the official Blockbuster Twitter account was like, "This is why you should have."
That guy's owning.
We would have never let this happen to you.
Yeah.
But like there were so many people. I think like the Michelin Man got in on it, it was, you can find some of the screenshots, but it was crazy the amount of brands that were just like talking crap. Obviously, like Hulu, Disney Plus, Prime Video, all of them got jabs in.
Again,
like, wow.
until they pull off a 10 million person live stream, they actually can't talk.
10 million.
Frickin', it should have been Twitch and YouTube in there, just clowning
like
all
people.
over.
There's 45 people in there, that's all.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I gotta say about the Love Is Blind. Really,
yeah.
If you need to feel good about your mental health, watch the show.
Sounds fun. But, speaking about feeling good about our mental health,
I might watch that other show. That one seems to be more interesting than the stupid
one where couples are
the
like,
one was like, let's honestly sabotage. Let's honestly try to sabotage our relationship.
Yeah, Daniel, do you know? Were you around for when we talked about the ultimatum?
He may not have been.
I was not.
I believe
but
he was detained. He was detained.
Yeah, that was.
Although that one is. Although I'm pretty sure Love Is Blind is a clone of a different show that already did that gimmick, but I'm pretty sure The Ultimatum really is.
Yeah, but it's straight up just like, let's switch partners, live with each other for a week, maybe hook up. Who knows?
And yeah, like I believe there was a show called like Partner Swap or whatever the hell it was.
Well, there was Wife Swap, but that was like, and Celebrity Wife Swap.
Yeah,
that was an ABC produced kind of fluff piece or whatever. Where
that was
this is what your life could have been like.
That's just like, oh my god, this wife doesn't have a cell phone, and this wife doesn't do the dishes.
Turn my own butter. What? I have to drive this Jaguar in a city. Bizarre.
All right. Since we're talking about promoting mental health, we should talk about one of the most mentally healthy people I've ever seen in Hollywood, and that is Charlie Sheen.
Yes.
Winning.
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen's apparently cast in a Chuck Lorre show, which is an insane thing to say in the year 2023.
Wait,
it's not 2004?
It definitely is not.
There's nothing insane about money. It's like these guys are like symbiotic now. It's like we need each other to make money. Yeah, let's go make it. And guys, I never watched that other goddamn show, so I'm not going to watch this one either. But it's going to be fascinating. I'm trying to get around again. I'm all for it. Unless they decide, you know what the world needs now is a weekly half-hour situation comedy based on your 1990s movie, Navy SEALs. So we got a Navy SEALs sitcom starring Charlie Sheen as an old grizzled Navy SEALs vet. Maybe.
What are the odds that this show just doesn't
home
happen?
After a long deployment, having to deal with life, the family, in the suburbs, and maybe he learned some hard truths about himself along the way. Guys, I'm trademarking that too. Like we should just have our own network where we just make the shows that are so great. But Navy SEALs. It can't be hard to get the rights to Navy SEAls.
It can't be.
Wow.
What's up?
And yeah, that's the thing is, I don't think Chuck Lorre needs Charlie Sheen as much as Charlie Sheen would need him, though. Like, I can't think of. Sure. But that just fuels him. It doesn't make him money.
Well, is Young Sheldon ending? Is that why he needs to make a new show?
Maybe Young Sheldon is ending, but yeah, like now that I look up Chuck Lorre, like he has a million shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when you go from creating the Big Bang, or going from 2.5 Men to creating the Big Bang Theory, you do not need another dollar in your life.
I got an idea. How about you combine the universes of 2.5 Men?
Yes.
And the Big Bang Theory. I'm gonna call it like a 2.5. I don't know. I'm workshopping here. But if you combine
2.5 brains, Charlie Sheen is the half brain. I've already done it.
You win.
Young Sheen.
Okay, come on, Dave. This is supposed to be a serious subject. Unbelievable.
But like Chuck Lorre brings back Charlie Sheen's character in the final episode of not How I Met Your Mother. Fuck, I keep doing that. 2.5 Men.
That's
And
like the only sitcom not made by Chuck Lorre.
I know. Straight up drops a piano on his head and then turns to camera and says, "Winning." So I'm just like, I can't believe that these two guys are going to work together again.
Yeah. Money's great.
Pretty crazy.
Oh,
we
can make money. Charlie's probably realized he's 60 years old now, and cocaine isn't quite as cool anymore, so he can chill out a little bit.
15 years is a lot of time to cool down. Like,
I guess, but like, come on, is it?
Yeah, no.
And I mean, considering their very, 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 very public falling out.
Guys, I don't want 1990s Charlie Sheen, even though Hot Shots Part 2 was pretty good in Hot Shots. I want, Tiger Blood Charlie Sheen. Give Tiger Blood Sheen a TV show. This is going to be amazing. Just let him go off. Don't even script it.
Will this be the fastest canceled show of all time?
No.
Not canceled by the network. I mean, just like the internet is going to take one look at this show and say, not for us.
Nope.
Not for us.
It's going to be a huge
my
success.
God.
It'll be a huge success.
Daniel, this is a visual medium. You reading things, we don't see it.
Well, I was trying to let you finish your sentence. And yes, it will be, because I just found out the one other person who has been produced or who has been linked to this show.
Harvey Weinstein.
So far, this show stars Charlie Sheen is a recurring role, and Sebastian Maniscalco.
All right.
So
Good.
we already know it's going to be unhinged, because you do not cast those two people without specifically trying to draw people's thoughts in a certain direction.
This is just Charlie Sheen actually, he had that show where he was a therapist for a while, didn't he?
Anger management?
Yeah, the anger management one.
Yeah. When did that end?
Yeah. It ended after about 2 seasons after poor ratings, apparently.
Yeah.
I was looking that up earlier.
That show?
They should have just done a spin-off or a movie or a television adaptation of Happy Gilmore. That would have been way better. You could have Charlie a Shooter McGavin.
Well, he's actually been on a lot of stuff the last couple of years.
And so that show will premiere on this streaming service called Max. Never heard of it. Possibly because it doesn't become named Max until a month from now. But
What's
HBO.
The deal with that? That's stupid. That was stupid.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It's because Discovery bought HBO. HBO didn't buy Discovery, and so they reserved the right to remove the name HBO off it.
But then why wouldn't you call it Discovery Max?
Because they're actually keeping a separate Discovery streaming service, I have heard.
This is a waste of money if I've ever seen it.
On top of, they've just ripped all of the content off HBO Max anyway, so it's not like there's anything to watch there if you do go on. And even if you could find a show to watch, it's not like you could download it and watch it on the go, so why would anyone pay for their downloading service?
Bizarre. This is bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, whatever. You know what? That's an American problem. That's not a Canada problem.
No.
Maybe that's why I've been on Disney's good side for a while, because I've really been angry at HBO Max and Crave. Very publicly.
They're just going to cut off the V and the E from Crave and just call it crap from now on. Guys, we're totally revamping. Welcome to crap. Yeah. Or
Okay. Any other... What was the other piece of news we were talking about? Oh, yes, The Rookie.
Season 6.
Woo!
Yeah, of the procedurals that are out these days, only one worth watching. The Rookie. Nathan Fillion, of course, fantastic. That fucking that spin-off show, not quite as good. But yeah, Rookie is great. Now, we were talking beforehand. Rookie's great, though.
Really good. Cannot recommend enough for people.
Yeah,
I
watch the show.
spent 5 years making fun of that show, not watching it, be like, a 40-year-old, a nearly 50-year-old Nathan Fillion is a rookie in the LAPD. What a dumb idea for a show. And then, I needed something to watch on a Sunday night, and I freaking put on The Rookie, and I was like, this is a great show.
Yeah.
So everyone, if you're like me, you're making bad decisions.
Yeah.
Make a good decision and watch The Rookie. Or whatever we're about to rename it to.
What do you think? 6 years in, not a rookie anymore. He's almost a grizzled vet. I think he's just still a uniformed police officer. Former construction, what is it? Not a construction worker, I guess.
No, he was a contractor.
He was a contractor. He had his own business, did quite well. Said, you know what, I'm going to be
we'll call it the RFA years.
Oh my God.
In the canon of the show, and I did not know this show was good until 2 months ago when I watched all of it. And now was very happy to figure out that there were episodes coming out weekly still. So I was very excited. Can't wait till tonight. Gonna get off this, go watch The Rookie.
They're gonna do a Castle thing and just keep it on for like 9 years.
I'd love it.
Well, I started wondering about that.
Yeah.
So I looked up Castle, which ran for 8 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided, just to make sure, because
Firefly.
I know I was watching it when it happened, but I can't remember the instance. And so I Googled the simple question, when did Castle jump the shark?
Ooh.
And there are some varying answers. The earliest one I can find is that it happened in season 6, episode 20.
Well,
on an episode titled That 70s Show.
Nice. There was
what I gotta say,
year where he finally gets together with his partner, the cop or whatever, and they get married. But at the wedding, something happens, and she has to go undercover for a year or something like that. And so she's in a different, because I guess those two did not get along or something like that. So they filmed basically two different shows at the same time. Yeah, awful.
I never watched Castle.
You watch it because of Nathan Fillion. He is watchable.
The problem is,
including in Old Dad Balls, the new.
That's not even the most insane shit that they did, because then don't they kill and then not kill fucking Castle?
Maybe. Yeah, they did.
Like there's a whole like
for an episode.
Yeah, like there's a whole episode or like arc that you're supposed to believe that he is dead, even though like I'm pretty sure we see him.
John Castle died?
Sure.
No, he didn't. That's the whole point.
He, I think it wasn't like a car accident going to his wedding or something like that.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of shit. Fascinating stuff, guys. It is incredibly fascinating. The cool thing about the show is that he would be sitting around at a table playing poker with mystery writers and stuff like that. So guys like Stephen J. Cannell and stuff like that would show up on, like, television legend Stephen J. Cannell of what do you do with the E18 and a whole bunch of shit.
That is also to bring it back to The Rookie. Like that's something talking about like guest stars and stuff that The Rookie does amazingly well at. Mm-hmm. Where just because Nathan Fillion is oh so charming, like they get like Joel McHale just shows up for an episode as like, yeah, I'm a corrupt border guard. What's up?
Well, they're buddies.
But then also like Frankie Muniz, Malcolm in the Middle, shows up as like a cult leader. as a child star turned cult leader. It's so
I buy that.
So funny.
I would have joined Malcolm in the Middle's cult.
I know that Adam Baldwin shows up quite a bit. If you don't remember who that is, just off the top of your head, that's Jane from Firefly.
Yep.
Shows up quite a bit or whatever. He shows up a lot on the show as a kind of a corrupt cop. I'm not sure. Who's trying to do the right thing sometimes and the wrong thing sometimes. He's a rogue cop or something. I don't know. Anyways, he's fun.
Yeah, really great. Great show. But I think it's been about 2 years on the job. He's not a rookie anymore. Spoilers for The Rookie. He's not even an officer anymore. He's a training officer now.
Right.
So we need a new show.
So you just put an S on the end of it.
Rookies.
Because he's now training the rookies, right?
They have a spin-off, though.
No, his rookie...
FBI or something like that? Rookie FBI?
I am pretty sure they want us to believe that his rookie has psychic powers.
What?
I don't...
I love it.
Like,
the show keeps getting better.
There's so much... Like, her first day on the job, she makes a bad stop because she has a feeling. And then it's like, there's nothing in there. And then they open up the trunk and it's like, it's full of blood. It's like, how did she know? It's like, I just had a feeling. And it's like, I'm pretty sure they want us to believe that not Cruz, I forget what her name is psychic.
Okay.
Guys, if they introduce witchcraft into the rookie, this may be, and I'm putting this lightly, the greatest television show of all time.
Yeah.
If she's gonna be a psychic, they better have a psych crossover. And like, just call James Roday and tell him he's got to play freaking Sean Spencer, and he's gonna go up against their real psychic. Literally, they could get it. Well, they would have to call and talk to the USA Network and like get the rights and everything. But I'm sure James Roday would do it. He's done like 3 movies so far.
I'm sure Nathan Fillion.
They could do it live on Netflix. So,
yeah. Well,
millions and millions.
Not if they want anyone to see it.
That's true.
They'll see it 19 hours later.
But yeah, rookies, I actually think is a really good name. Training officers, I think is good because the show starts and there's 3 training officers, but now it's just him. He's the only training officer. All the other ones have left.
He was just better.
Force them out.
Yeah. What a good show.
Oh my God.
Oh boy.
The worst part is there is actually a psych episode about a cop trainer who is like, he's so afraid of being a police officer that he only trains them now, and because he's afraid of being in the field, and then they send Sean and Gus to like police training for a week because they've been doing some crazy shit and they contaminated a crime scene. And yeah, so there is actually a psych episode where they deal with the police training officer.
Dan,
the blueprint's there.
Maybe this will like sell you on watching the show. There is a series of episodes dealing with cops who have identical, non-related twins to them who are criminals. But it's like, you look just like this person. Identical twins who are unrelated to the cops. But they're like, you could go undercover as him because you guys look exactly the same.
It's a secret invasion.
Yeah. Anyway, that's The Rookie. Excited that it's getting a season 6.
Excellent. All right. Shows that aren't getting season 6s.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
Yes. Do we want to talk a little bit about Mrs. Maisel before we talk more about it next week when I've actually seen it?
Sure, we can talk.
I didn't know it was out.
Neither did I.
Yeah. This weekend they just said, guys, 2 of Rob's favorite shows are going into their last season, and so we're just going to put them out at the exact same time. 2 episodes for Barry. Both directed by Bill Hader. The first one written by Bill Hader, which was very good. But Mrs. Maisel, the first 3 episodes. So I don't know how. I don't want to say too much about it since you haven't seen it. Yeah. But yeah, it picks up where the last season kind of left off, where she was out in the cold after her little tryst there with Lenny Bruce. And sees the thing or whatever about having to go for it and stuff like that. So, yeah, it picks up from there. But this year, they're kind of introducing kind of flash forwards and stuff like that to see where the kids are in their lives in like the 1980s. I think they said it was 1982 or something like that. And they flash back or whatever, and they keep going through her life. And then the next episode shows like her kid, and her kid's in Ethan is in like the son or whatever is in Israel on some farm or whatever, dealing with something. And then they also talk about how she's been doing her career, how her career would take off or wouldn't, and her relationships and stuff like that. They bring all this up. They have the governor from Walking Dead fame on there as Mike Wallace for an episode. So yeah, it's been a real good season. Of course, it's the parents, it's Moesha and stuff like that. They're stealing the show as usual, but there's some real good supporting cast, and everybody has something to do so far. So 3 great episodes of Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. It sucks they're ending it. I'm going to blame Dan for this, as I blame Dan for a lot of things, and I've been writing letters just to random strangers and saying, if you really liked the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, blame Dave. It's his fault. I don't even know who they are. And usually I'm just sending these things to prisons. So when they get out.
To whom this may concern.
That's right. Oh, I've heard that. No, I don't know. Don't quote me. But I heard that most prisoners are big fans of Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on the Amazon Prime Network.
Well, who isn't?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, honestly.
Yeah.
And speaking of people who should be in prison, how about Barry? How were those episodes?
He is in prison, and yeah, great. And all the stuff with NoHo Hank has been so good so far. Again, not much I want to talk about. I can say that and NoHo Hank and his partner now looks like they want to go legit. They figured out a good way to do it. They just try and get some terrible people to help them because they don't know any better. Barry going through some problems, of course, dealing with how Gene kind of set him up to go away in prison. Of course, he tried to murder Gene, and didn't really try to murder Gene, but in the last season, but like threatened his grandkids and his kids and stuff like that. Gene got the gist or whatever, and they put him away. But Gene, it looks like, is going to try and find a way to profit off of putting Barry away. Looks like he got an interviewer from Vanity Fair, and he basically did a one-man show or whatever about the events leading up to it and stuff like that. I think he was rehearsing in front of somebody. So we'll see what's going to happen with Barry. But the first, again, 2 great episodes of television, 3 great episodes from Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. It sucks that we're down to 6 weeks
like
left.
6 and 5.
Yeah.
They're going to be over right away. Like the Stanley Cup is going to last longer than this season. Damn, Barry, and just wrapping it up. It sucks, and it sucks that it's the end. But I think at the end or whatever, it'll be closure and stuff like that. You can say, okay, like this is it. This is how an English style way of doing television, which I appreciate. So, grieve for its loss, celebrate for what you had. That's your words of wisdom from Krang Grogu for today. Thank you very much.
Don't be sad that it's over. Be happy that it happened.
How dare you, sir? I'll be sad if I want. What have you been watching, Dan?
Oh, yeah.
Don't let the name dissuade you. He has not been watching The Mandalorian.
Yeah, no, he's a terrible human being. Awful man.
I did finish the entire Beef series. Holy shit. Where to even start without giving away too much, but also, okay. It's not as depressing as the first episode. Like, a lot of the series after the first, it opens up, it gets a lot more zany, a lot more hijinks.
Okay.
I was correct in saying that it seems like a lot of the series is them just trying to go back and forth and ruin each other's lives. And there's a little bit. Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Yeah. And so they get entirely entangled in each other's lives, from like miscommunications, and then some other things happen. Once the brother gets involved, that's a whole other thing. Danny, the character, um, who's driving the red truck,
Right.
when his brother starts getting involved with Ali Wong's character, um, things escalate very quickly after that. And
Okay.
then,
So I should give it more than the 2 minutes I gave it when I said this road rage thing is just going to trigger me. It's like pushing on the wrong buttons. I mean, I should push past it because the rest of it is pretty good.
okay, yeah, and like
All right.
that first episode does end with essentially a prank. And like the prank is in retaliation to this like fight that they had once Danny goes and finds out where she is, and like looks up her license plate, and then um does some crazy shit. Apparently in California you can do this. A
Really?
lot of Californian license plates are just public information.
That
um
doesn't seem safe.
Nope.
no, really doesn't.
Nope.
But then yeah, and then she goes and she retaliates back, and then this happens, and then that happens, and there is still some depressing shit, because like Danny's life is very, very sad.
Right.
but they don't make they don't make it like the core thing of the show. The show seems very slapstick until about the last 2 episodes, honestly. And then things go insane. I literally will not say anything about the end of the series, because one, I couldn't have seen it coming even if I had written the series. And two, it's insane, and people should watch it.
Okay.
Interestingly, like it's billed as like a mini series, and it is also like A24 Productions. So
Right.
I really don't know if I'm ever gonna get more of this show.
You don't need to.
Yeah.
There's so many series that are good as just one series. That's all you need. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then
And
there's other seasons that are taken away from you after 4 seasons. It sucks. But I'll get over it.
and yeah, just definitely you should go and give it another try. If the show isn't for you after, I would say, episode 2, you're probably not gonna stick around. But I think if you get through those 2 episodes, there's only 10 of them in the whole show. They're,
Half-hour
30-ish
shows?
minutes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Real easy to spam through the entire series, and once you get to the couple of later episodes, you do just kind of click the next one immediately, because every
It's
episode
bingeable.
ends on a "what the fuck was that?"
Whoa. Just like the Pentaveret.
Yes, exactly. But the funniest thing about Dave leaving immediately is that he
That's
does just
strike
have to
two.
come back, because I think
That's
I'm done talking about beef, and we got to move on to Mando.
that's strike 2, Rob.
Oh my god.
There will not be a strike 3.
Gee whiz. Sounds ominous. All right. Mandalorian, some of the best Star Wars in a long time in this latest edition of the Mandalorian. What's this one called? The Spies?
The Spies,
Mhm.
multiple.
Yeah.
Which we need to talk about who the spies might
Yeah.
be.
Who are the spies?
Dan, who do you think the spies are?
Yeah. Yeah, Dan. Big fan of the show. How dare you?
Yeah, I was gonna throw out a random answer, and then I realized I don't think the timeline works.
This motherfucker was about to say Darth Maul.
Right. They should have that guy from like Star Wars with the or whatever. And
Oh yeah, the spies are clearly frickin' Sheev Palpatine.
Oh my god.
That's it.
The-
That's it.
Well, I would imagine
All of the
spy would
spies.
be the guy that just said, "Oh, I'm getting out of here or whatever up this hole. No problem. See you guys later."
Oh, Axe Woes.
Yeah, the guy that gets into a fight every week with his helmet off, fighting people with helmets on.
You got to show the difference between the cultist Mandalorians and the ones who were just terrorists back in the day.
Yeah, that
See,
guy's not
okay.
smart.
Yeah, Dan?
I thought a thing about the helmets.
Okay.
And this wasn't a thing until like later on, right? It's
This
not
wasn't
like
a
it was
thing.
ever...
Dan, welcome to the hottest debate of 2020.
Okay. But see, the reason the one that we know of that wears the helmet all the time is just because he has the face of all the clone troopers, right? And it would be a little weird.
Well, we know dozens of other Mandalorian characters. Like in the Clone War, they're all over the Clone Wars and Rebels, taking their helmets off, running around, bebopping around
The Boppers.
the galaxy. And then
So the one that we knew that doesn't take the helmet off is just the one whose father is the face of all of the clones, right?
Yes. Yeah, and now he does
A totally good reason for him not to take the helmet off.
Yeah. Well, he takes it off now that he's like the mayor of a town.
Oh yeah, he doesn't have anything. He's like, I'm not even a Mandalorian, guys.
Speaking of Boba, I'm kind of expecting to see him in tomorrow's episode, saving the day. I think that would be really cool. Like Mando came.
Should have said tomorrow's episode.
Oh damn! Tomorrow's episode is so good.
All right,
yeah.
we're gonna go back in the live broadcast,
Yeah.
and we're gonna edit that. You wanna take that line one more time, Dave?
Yeah, I'm gonna Instagram live this.
I would not be surprised if Boba shows up in tomorrow's episode.
Oh, brother. Okay.
But a really great episode. Like I did not expect that right off the jump they would be like, all right, and we're going to Mandalore.
Yeah.
And then they got there. And we're like, oh, this is the end of the episode.
The 30 of us are going to Mandalore.
And then they're like, all right, we're going to find the Great Forge. Skinny Pete from Breaking Bad and Warlock from Top Gun Maverick, you're here to help us.
I wish those were their Mando names.
No, they were in Death Watch. They do have names, but I don't remember.
It's not Skinny Pete and Warlock.
No.
Those guys were in Death Watch? I had a hard time.
Bo-Katan, so Katie Sackhoff's
Night
character.
Owl, right? Night
Well,
Owl.
that's her sigil, is the Night Owl. She was a part of Death Watch, which back during the Clone Wars era, the Mandalorians were like, we don't fight, no fighting, we don't even have guns, except for like the splinter group of Mandalore, which was Death Watch, which is where like Bo-Katan's character comes from. The original Jon Favreau Star Wars character came from.
Right.
And where we originally see the Darksaber. They were like a terrorist organization, which they keep not addressing. Bo-Katan always goes, man, we really got to unite all the people of Mandalore. And I'm like, you were in a terrorist organization.
Unbelievable.
But really great stuff. I love Grogu getting a mech suit built out of Taika Waititi's character.
Dan, I'm going to ask you a question. If you had the chance to build a robot suit out of the decayed corpse of one of your best friends, would you do that? And would you walk around with it and have a little fun little yes/no buttons on there?
Yes.
Wait.
Grogu
He's got sound drops?
He's got two buttons. He has one that says yes and one that says no. So when they're giving him the mech, Carl Weathers' character is like, hey, he's like the fun grandpa who just wants to give the baby toys. Is like, you put him in it. Put him in the droid. He'll love it. And Mando's like, he's too little. And every time Carl Weathers talks, he's like, yes. And every time Mando talks, he's like, no. And then they do a fun thing with that where like he uses it to get snacks for himself. And he's like, yes. But then two guys are fighting on the ship, as Mando's like to do. Who I realized now, I've been calling him the Jon Favreau Mandalorian. He's actually not Jon Favreau anymore.
Oh,
He was in season 1 and 2, but in season 3, Jon was like, hey, guy in the suit who does all the stunts and is on set doing everything, do you want
Do
to
you
just
just
be the
want to be
voice?
this guy?
And
Okay.
he was like, yeah, sure. It's like, you're doing all the work. I'm just doing the voice. And he was like, yeah, awesome.
So they're trying to atone for the mistakes of David Prowse.
I
Is that what's
guess.
going on here?
But Dan, they're
Perfect.
getting in a fight. There's two people getting in a fight, and then Grogu comes up, breaks them up, and is like, no.
Yeah.
Oh man. So someone needs to get him a third button. That's just an air horn.
No, just
But Rob, what did you think about this episode? You know, I'd been
I
talking.
didn't really like it. This is, like I was saying before, this is the most Star Warsy looking thing, especially when they when they go through the forge or whatever, and then they finally say, we got set up here by the other Darth Vader guy, and then
Moff Gideon.
So
Gus from Breaking Bad.
Yeah. And then all the what are they calling them, dark troopers or whatever? I was thinking like just like the jet troopers. Like this is like looking at like the old Battlefront game, like the one for PlayStation 1 or 2 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
The good one, the Battlefront 2.
Between Gus and Moff Gideon, will any nerd ever look at Juan Carlo Esposito and not see villain?
If the rumors are true and he's being eyed to be Professor X, maybe.
Okay, fair. Just make him Magneto then.
Maybe. No, you make Bryan Cranston Magneto. You do the flip.
I do have a cartoon question for the cartoon nerds.
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Right. Is that helmet that he's wearing, that kind of Mandalorian style helmet, is that in the cartoons or is that just for the show?
No, this is he described it as what a douchey thing he says. He's like, I've made the newest edition of Dark Trooper armor, and I've made it perfect. You know why? Because it has me in it. So this is a new thing. But he does have like the points on his helmet, which I think what he's done is he's co-opted some other Mandalorian helmet and just like spray painted it black. During the Clone Wars, when Darth Maul ruled Mandalore, a lot of his lieutenants had spikes on their head, which is why I've always been sus of the armor, because she's got those little spikes.
Ooh.
So and I'm like,
armor Darth Maul?
No, the Darth Maul died in a very heartbreaking way. You know, he died in Obi-Wan's arms. Spoilers for Rebels. Spoilers.
I mean, I think dying in Obi-Wan's arms is a great way to go.
Which half of him died in Obi-Wan's arms?
He cut him right down the chest.
Oh, he decided to do it the other way this time? It's like, that one way isn't working. We're going the other way.
Yeah. Cuts him, and then Darth Maul's like, is Luke the chosen one? And Obi-Wan's like, yeah. He's like, he'll avenge us. And then Darth Maul dies.
Boy.
And Obi-Wan does the, like, eye thing.
Yeah. He looks like a butterfly shrimp.
So I think that the, like, spiky helmet and stuff that he has is, like, a co-opted version, because he says it's made of pure Beskar, or Beskar alloy, which is pretty good.
Right.
Pretty cool. I also really like how much setting up for the future this episode.
I was going to get to the very end when, what's his name? Snopes. Is that his name? Snope? What's the guy from, Snope's guards come out, those red dudes with the sort of lightsaber things, and whip the shit out of not Favreau anymore.
Yeah, in the most brutal death scene I've ever seen in Star Wars, where
he did the cheesy thing too with the hold the sword into him kind of deal or whatever too at one point. Oh my god!
And you think that's gonna be? He's like, okay, I'm dying, I'm taking you with me, and they're like, nope, stabbed in the back and the side. It's like
down the shaft, right.
After that amazing sacrifice play where he's fighting so hard that his Gatling gun melts.
That was awesome. Yes, that was one of my favorite parts. Like you could see the barrel starting to heat up, and then the whole thing starts glowing right after.
And they just throws it.
Yeah,
so good.
Kicks the shit out of every trooper there, and then the three.
And then the red guys show up.
And, this is done, guys. This is finished.
It was so that's how the episode ends.
So does that mean that Snope is this gonna push an error that Snope is somehow been cloned there on Mandalore?
No, so I think what
What are those
Gus
guys doing there?
I think what he's doing is different than Snoke because
Snoke, that's it, sorry.
the
Thanks,
books.
Snoke.
So what happens is after the Imperials fall apart permanently, a bunch of them flee into the unknown regions to like rebuild the First
Like
Order.
that council of dudes or whatever that was
The fucking
around them.
Shadow Council, which is the coolest
Right.
name for bad guys.
Oh boy.
Um,
I would have called them the Dill Pickle Bunch.
but you see some.
I don't hate Death Watch either.
Well, that one was taken by Mandalorian terrorists.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying this universe got a lot of cool villain group names.
Yeah. But in the books and stuff, Snoke is just a person who shows up and is like, "Hello,
Yeah.
I'm in charge now," and everyone's cool with that, I guess.
Hmm.
And then it's later revealed that it was Palpatine all along. But
Wow.
we see Donald Gleason's character's dad in the Shadow Council, played by his
Right.
brother,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was really cool. And then just a bunch of other guys, and it's cool seeing all the different Imperials kind of acting like the rebellion, where if you watch like the cartoons and even Andor, the rebels talk about, we got to look like we're not organized so that the Empire doesn't bash down on us. And now it's the Empire saying, we got to look like we're unorganized so the New Republic doesn't bash down on us.
Yeah. What was that? Is the Vader's fist thing? Is that from Heir to the Empire? Is that what I'm remembering?
No, that's the 501st Clone Battalion.
Oh, okay, right. But speaking of Thrawn, so they're mentioning him now by name as well, not just Ahsoka. He shows up next week, right? He shows up tomorrow, right?
I think he shows up at the end of the episode, and I think
Do you think they show do you think they just show him from the back, like that scene or whatever you get from the teaser trailer for Ahsoka? Do you think that's in the thing, or are you actually going to see Mickelson's face?
I think he gets a scene, and I think Grogu comes in his mech wielding the Darksaber.
What?
That's the only reason they gave him a mech. I'm calling it right now so that he can hold a lightsaber.
Nice.
and like
no.
okay, can the mech hold the Darksaber without problems? Because it's like really heavy or something.
That for him because he didn't even. It was for Grogu because not for Grogu. It was heavy for Din because he had a Jon Snow. I don't want it. I don't. Which we didn't even talk. We missed talking about it. The episode where Jack Black and Lizzo showed up.
Yeah.
Where Dan. It turns out the rules of the Darksaber are the same as the rules for the Elder Wand from Harry Potter. Where it's like,
you gain it by beating the other,
or
by
technicality, where it's like, hey, Voldemort, actually, Malfoy beat Snape, and I beat Malfoy, so it's never been yours. And Din had the same thing where he's like, hey, I got captured by a big spider, and I dropped the Darksaber, and then Bo picked it up. So, I guess it's hers now.
It was a lot of work. To
a lot of backflipping, but
yeah.
But wait, did Bo beat the spider, or does the Darksaber belong to the spider?
No, she beat the spider.
Okay, fine.
Three different versions of it.
Yeah. But Grogu's gonna show up, save his dad, or if my theory is correct, and Din Djarin, the Mandalorian himself, is actually the spy, he's gonna die. Because Gus should have just killed Moff Gideon should have just killed Din Djarin right away rather than capturing him. So I'm like, he's either the spy or they're keeping him alive for narrative reasons, and I hope that's not it.
Yeah, why would they bother keeping him alive?
Yeah.
What is the point? They capture him, they get him all tied up, and it's like, okay, these 5 dudes, we're taking it to our base. For all this questioning, because you must know so much. Not that Daryl that's leading everything. She's fine to go.
Either way, I think Din Djarin, Grogu comes in, saves his dad, or kills his dad. I don't know.
Wow.
And then Moff Gideon's forces, they have to leave Mandalore because that's how stories go, and they flee. And then who's there to pick them up? Grand Admiral Thrawn. And Thrawn's like, "You failed me for the last time," and he shoots Gus in the head.
George Harrison?
Yeah,
Like
he's very much. I could not to get like the view of who Grand Admiral Thrawn is in new canon. Season 3 and 4 of Rebels are a really good watch.
I keep forgetting that he was on the cartoon show too. I just remember the books.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Really, really fantastic stuff. I think Thrawn shows up and kills Moff Gideon, announcing himself as "I'm the big bad now."
I would imagine so. You can't have both these guys kind of tugging at the evil strings or whatever. It's got to be one guy in charge kind of deal.
And I want the blue guy.
Oh, well, he's coming. We know he's coming.
I know. I just want him now.
The other guy just looks like Darth Vader. So it'd be like the one guy looks like Darth Vader, and the other one looks like a blue Grand Moff Tarkin. So there you
Except
go.
he wears white and has red eyes.
Right. Yeah. You got another system, a military system. All right, you got it.
Anyway, those are my thoughts on Mando.
Yeah, great episode. Shame on you, Dan, forever.
Really excited for tomorrow's episode.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Again, another show. What are we gonna watch? We're gonna watch, guys. All these shows are ending.
Well, Mando's not ending.
Well, no, but they're ending for the season.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they're always ending for the season. So we all have to commit to watching the upcoming season of NCIS Hawaii.
I'm good. I'm good. You know, in addition to Mando, I've also got Ted Lasso going, so I'm good for another month.
And that has been incredible as well. I'm fully caught up with that Zaba, whatever character. Little
and I'm also going to be busy watching a TV show about a soccer team, or I should call it football, except it's one that takes place in the real world, because I plan on starting Welcome to Wrexham pretty soon.
It's fantastic.
Really good.
One, Rob McElhaney, Always Sunny connection, and also the other owner might end up owning my hockey team pretty soon. So
he's not going to.
I think it's more likely that he is than isn't, because
the NHL loves,
the group that he's currently the group that he currently is signed with, and like none of the billionaires in it are actually interested in the hockey team as much as they are interested in the land development contracts that come with purchasing the hockey team. So there's a lot of people speculating that they're going to tell Ryan Reynolds that he can literally be like the owner.
I don't know. I was fine with him going and messing up British sports, but I don't know how I feel about him owning Canadian.
You can go ahead and mess up the Ottawa Senators. Go ahead.
Look, I'll take Ryan Reynolds over The Rock. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my god,
because he's also out there trying to. So
yeah, he's also out there tweeting that he's going to be Luke Cage, and I'm like, no, you're not.
He's
too old to be Luke Cage.
Well, that's what I just said. Almost owned the whole CFL for a minute. Thank God that didn't happen, because the XFL stinks.
Yeah.
Guys, we're an hour in. We've done an hour in the show. There were some other things we wanted to talk about, but I know that Dave has to get going here. Because he has
if it wasn't the Mando conversation. I was going to point out at one point, but we were in the middle of it, and I was just like, oh, well, we're going to have to cut this show off at 59 minutes, 59 seconds. So, but yeah, we should do plugs and get on out of here then.
Grogu's no button.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yes.
It's the best thing. Now, how he's like Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles now. It's awesome. He lives in his old friend.
And yeah, so I had been under the impression that the Darksaber had some more Mjolnir-like characteristics, and so I thought that the droid was going to help Grogu wield it, because he's not actually wielding it, the droid is. Mjolnir can go in an elevator. Is the elevator worthy?
Grogu's going to be one with the Force, and he can hold anything he wants.
I think, when we get that Rey movie, Grogu's going to be there.
100%.
Yeah, makes sense, yeah.
Or he's going to be dead.
They might eventually give him a voice actor.
He'll be the gangster or whatever. He's the new Jabba.
That's Boba Fett.
Grogu kills Boba.
Not for
Whoa.
long. Not for
Then he
long.
teams up with Ming-Na Wen.
He sees where the money is. He's all about, yeah. You mean if I have all the money, I can eat all the fish people I like?
I can get all the snacks. He got knighted by Lizzo.
Yeah, that's bananas. And Doc Brown was there. And yeah. Anyone who says that was a shit episode is a dummy.
Most of that is insane.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Jack Black is the fattest former Imperial officer of all time. Great. So good. So good. They should have sang a song, though. It would have been more awesome if they sang a song.
Yeah. Anyway. Dan, where can people find you?
All right. I can't be found places, so let's go to some other people, and I'll see if anyone around the Benverse wants me to plug something.
Well, I got a couple of things. Okay, so over at LGR Network, the highlights, we have a show called Playoff Beers. We talk about Stanley Cup playoffs. I will be doing a live stream come Thursday, watching the Winnipeg Jets versus the Las Vegas Dumb Bozos, and then this will be right here on YouTube. I'm going to try and keep the swears to a minimum. I'll try and keep the arson references down, but I'm not going to promise anything. Also, looking forward to at some point this weekend, possibly jumping on a game show on our good friend 50 Show, the greatest show in the galaxy, about a traveling alien medic of some type. And of course, playoff, or we got the starting 11 over at the LGR Network as well, talking about English Premier League. Chelsea bounced out of the Champions League today. I have a lot more Tuesdays and Wednesdays free next year to cry myself to sleep. How about you, Dave?
Right now, we are trying to firm up a date to talk about season 2 of Lost on Multiverse of Geekdom on the Geekdom Initiative.
Sure.
But there's a lot of episodes in Lost per season, and just there's a lot. It's 20 episodes, each an hour long. So dates to come. Hopefully we are recording in the next couple days, but we will see, and hopefully we are showing that to all of you in the next week or so. But other than that, can't really be found. I'm kind of slowing down doing shows right now just because this room in a couple weeks is all going to get torn down to make way for a bunch of baby stuff. So, can't really find. And then you can't find me anywhere.
Oh boy.
And so looking around, this is very funny because I was on essentially this episode, but it was several years ago. I popped over to the Multiverse of Geekdom. They want me to talk about their many, many matches of Titans of the Turf. That's a kind of, I want to call it an actual play tabletop football game.
It's legitimately fantasy football.
Wow.
Yeah. Literally fantasy football, except that apparently someone has Tom Brady on their team.
What a terrible pick.
Like, you could just have Goku instead of Tom Brady, and you could just throw better. All right, but there's a ton of matches that came out yesterday. I'm counting at least 4 of them. Oh, one of them is just a promo. My bad. It's 3 matches and 1 promo for an upcoming match. And then earlier today, over on a show called Geeking Out, also on the Multiverse of Geekdom, we had Frenchie and a couple of friends talking about hockey jerseys. Frenchie loves his hockey jerseys. He loves talking about them. I was definitely on an episode of his show years and years ago on this weird YouTube channel. I think they called it Schmoes of the North or something. But yeah, we did all the reverse retros when Adidas had first picked up the contract. So considering Adidas is about to drop the contract, that was a while back. And finally, the last thing is this Sunday on Geekdom Uncut, also on the Multiverse of Geekdom channel. They're going to be having Paul Preston.
Whoa!
Paul Preston's such a genuine treasure. I want to say the movie guys.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
correct.
cool. So yes, of the movie guys, him and Adam Witt, super great guys. There's a small chance you'll end up with an Adam Witt cameo, but I'm not promising anything. I literally have nothing to do with that show. But they do come together quite often. That's all I'm saying. So Multiverse of Geekdom has a ton of things, some that just came out, some that's coming out. I believe that's Sunday is this episode. And wow. Taco also wants me to plug something. He's got a Pokemon role-playing game that he does, and it's going to be returning on Friday. I keep forgetting to go watch that too, so
It's pretty
thanks
good.
for my own reminder, Taco. That does it for me and for the entire multiverse. And so I think we're done for the week. And so for myself and Rob and Dave, we thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.